So it's Eric Geyer's find tonight that'll be starting in the nets. So far, Ron, who looking over his lineup, he wasn't sure if Quinney could go tonight. And by the looks of things, that doesn't look like sweatpants on. So I think Brian has decided that not only the kick in the calf last night, but he also has a pretty nasty groin that he got Wednesday in training. So we're about ready to start. Branko Segota shaking hands with fellow Yugoslavian Mike Stankovic. For the homestanding blast in the white jerseys, they'll start with Mark Metrick and Mike Stankovic, Timmy Whitman, along with Dale Mitchell and Billy Ronson up front. The Sockers will go with Segota, Wad Hermes, Paul Wright, Alex Golovnia, and the perennial all-star defender Kevin Crow at the back. Sox going from right to left and score off the kickoff as Paul Wright continues to blaze, putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's worth looking at once again. That will be the fastest goal probably in the history of the MISL, or make it the MSL. Boy, that couldn't have been more than 3 seconds, if that much. The kickoff, one bounce on the half volley with the right foot, and Paul Wright says, "Hello, Baltimore." Scott Manning, welcome back with a goal that was scored in a matter of seconds. And we'll get the official scoring as Baltimore kicks it off. And they'll go from left to right across your TV 51 dial. And Sava Miller gets his first touch on the ball. In the midfield, taken away by Mike Stankovic, off for Canadian Dale Mitchell. Intercepted and broken up in the San Diego zone by Kevin Crow. So we've got all the Chamber of Commerce stuff taken care of, and in a matter of 3 seconds. Is that 3 seconds? They are calling it 3 seconds, and I'm sure that has got to be a record. We'll check with the PR staff of the Baltimore Blast, Bruce Forrester's up there, and see if that indeed is a record. Segota on the kickoff gets the assist, his 7th of the year, Paul's 22nd goal of the season. If that's not the fastest goal, I'd like to see the fastest goal. Meanwhile, play goes on as Segota intercepts in center, comes over the blast line, left wing side to Dougherty, who tries to play it back inside to Segota, and will have to take it back out to the line on left wing. Paul Dougherty having a wonderful season so far, as we told you. Right up there with the big guys. 26 to make that 27 goals and 12 assists. For Paul Wright, that's his 22nd goal of the season. 1-0. San Diego leads it here in the Baltimore Arena, and delighted to have you along. I'm Dick Calvert. Thanks for joining us here tonight. New record, fastest goal in the history of, yes, the MISL and the Dale Mitchell can play it off the boards to himself as well as anybody in the league. He made a living doing that in Kansas City. And that's where Branko Segota was so alert defensively to head it out of trouble and away from Sava Miller. Yes, no Victor Noguera tonight if you're just joining us. Dick Calvert here in Baltimore. Delighted to have you on TV 51. Billy Ronson centering, ball in the back of the net, and it was deflected in by Mark Metrick, and we're level at a goal apiece. Sent in by Billy Ronson, and Metrick there to backheel it past Sava Miller. So with 8 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in this, the first period, the Sox have been leveled by the Baltimore Blast. Mark Metrick, the goal scorer, will kick the ball up into the stands, and we'll get a chance to see his goal. He positions himself well in front, and you can see the back heel ball right between the legs. Mike Collins there working defensively and doing a good job, but he simply backheeled the ball, and it found its way through the wickets of the rookie goalkeeper. Metrick's 12th of the year from Ronson at 6:35. We're level at a to the posted up Jim Guevara. Then Collins goes down on the right wing corner to get it, controls, tries to cross again, this time to little Paul Dougherty. Intercepted by Savage as Dougherty hounds him. Metrick will clear it out of the zone, and a wide open Dominic Mobilio. Look out, he's dangerous. Mobilio now forced to terminate his dribble and bring it back over the line by an alert Jim Guevara. Timmy Whitman loads one up, fires and scores! So Timmy Whitman, who has been on fire of late, scores his 21st goal. And the Baltimore Blast take a 2-1 lead. 2-1, the Blast lead the Sockers. 3:57 to go in the first period. We'll have more right after this. Mr. Britchin, and that yellow flag means that San Diego will lose Collins for 2 minutes, but will not lose a man on the floor. They'll play the Baltimore Blast up 5 aside. So a free kick, Stankovic, supported on the right by Reynolds, and on the left by Savage and Mitchell. Inside is Troy. And free kick taken, and the shot attempted on the outside by Dale Mitchell goes astray. Here's Mitchell again trying to chase down a loose ball into San Diego zone, and San Diego unable to clear the ball out. Shot taken, kick save, and a goal on the rebound off of Biller by Dale Mitchell. So it was Mitchell taking the shot and the kick save by the young goalkeeper, but the veteran Dale Mitchell following up his own shot and scoring the goal. 3-1 Baltimore. If at first you don't succeed, try again, the motto of Dale Mitchell. The kick saved by the goalkeeper. He's down, and Mitchell sniffing that ball inside the box did what all veteran players learn to do, follow up their own shot. And he says, thank you very much. He had it all alone, unattended, in the middle of the San Diego penalty area. And Baltimore has taken a 3-1 lead here in the first period. We still have a minute 15 seconds to go. Blast have 21-15 advantage over San Diego in the overall season series. A 13-5 record here in their building, here in the Baltimore Arena. San Diego with a kickoff, and Golovnia and Castro working ball on right wing. However, Castro has to play it all the way back into his own zone. Ben Collins back there, really pressured now, and forechecked by Rusty Troy. Troy shoving, pushing, and jamming Collins into the board. Foul call on Troy. Mitchell's 24th from Troy at 13:43. Third Baltimore goal. A steal by Mike Reynolds away from Castro gives Baltimore possession once again. Just 36 seconds to go here in this first period. He's had 4 goals. Sox scored only 1 goal last night in a 2-1 loss to the Storm down in St. Louis. Paul Wright scoring the only goal tonight for the San Diego Sockers. Mitchell, Whitman, and Metrick have all scored for the Baltimore Blast. As we count it down here in the first period, Wes Wade will turn and play it back to David Banks, and Banks will bring it out. Collins off into center to Paul Wright. Timmy Whitman has evidently drawn the assignment to mark up Paul Wright, and he's probably the only one on the Baltimore side that has the speed to match up. Whitman very quick, not as quick as Paul Wright, however, and not as quick as Angelo Panzetta. Here's Segota, off for Paul, and Paul's got space. Now he's picked up by Whitman, who comes over and gets an angle. You can see Whitman running like crazy to get over and pick up Paul Wright. His time has run out here in the first period. So after 15 minutes of play from the Baltimore Arena, the homestanding Blast lead the defending champion San Diego Sockers by a score of 3-1. We'll be back with period number 2. Stay with us. This will be a dandy, I guarantee you. We'll be back right after this. Their new t-shirts. This is t-shirt night here in the Baltimore Arena. Quickly looking at the MSL last night in Tacoma. Tacoma with 11,000 fans on hand defeated the Wichita Wings 10-2. Kansas City beat Dallas 6-4 at the Kemper Arena. I've already mentioned probably too many times that it was 2-1 in favor of St. Louis over San Diego down in the Gateway City. And of course Cleveland taking the measure of Baltimore 9-3 up in the Richfield Coliseum. There's a Red Sox fan not far away from Boston. Drove all the way down here to, in the offseason, take in an indoor soccer game. Scott Manning, of course, starting for the first time in 5 games. He had a right knee strain. Of course, they have used their number 2 goalkeeper, young Hank Henry, who started the season in the camp with the San Diego Sockers. But when Baltimore beckoned and Hank was trying out for San Diego, he came running because Cooper said, I'll sign you, I need you. A graduate of SMU and a former Dallas sidekick, came to Baltimore, and he's now a proud member of the Charm City side. Could have been down in San Diego where the weather is pleasant, sunny, warm, golfing 65, 70-degree weather. Up here it's 15. There's a shot by Billy Ronson, carrying him off the boards, unable to be controlled by Wad Hermes, and then bouncing unattractively for Baltimore off for David Banks. Waddy Hermes has a very large wrap on his right hand. He's bandaged up. David Banks at the Baltimore line now, drops it back into center to Kevin Crow. We're underway in period number 2, and thanks for joining us tonight here on KUSI TV. Last, Joe Barger out there. Little header and a goal by Rod Castro. A header by Wright and a bicycle kick. Not by Castro. That was Wad Hermes, I believe. Wad Hermes in tight there. He was all over the guy that was marking him up. And likewise, and Waddy getting the ball up and over, and they did not call a dangerous play. This is a heck of a goal. All right, getting the long distribution, and all he does is just flick it on over Savage's head. Puts a little bit of mustard on it. And look at this play. Over the left shoulder, Waddy scores his 27th, I do believe, of the season. Wad Hermes, who is sitting right behind the leaders in the scoring. And we've got a break in the action as San Diego has come within a goal of the Blast. 7:08 to go in the first half of play. Last called on Paul Wright. Rusty Troy talking to Torres Cabrichin. Cabrichin paying absolutely no attention to him. Torres, who makes his home out in the West, working tonight with Felix Volksman. Long ball looking for Dale Mitchell. Ball rolling away from Saba Miller, and alertly Kevin Crow will send it down. Wes Wade and Rusty Troy go for it. Wade looking for it. Troy on the ground, able to play it back to his goalkeeper. Marvelous play there. Little things like that often go unnoticed, except to the eagle eye of the coaching staff. English native Billy Ronson with 50 points now on the year, trying to work the ball, but San Diego breaks it up. Here's a 3-on-2 now, led by Wes Wade, trying to go left wing side to Crow. Scores! Kevin with a double clutching effort. He got the ball from Wes Wade, and it looked like the ball was back in his stance and he couldn't do anything with it. What the veteran out of San Diego State did was kind of chip it for himself right at his foot, double clutch, and send it home for the goal. So with 4:30 remaining here in the half, it's 3-3. Marvelous goal by Kevin Crow. Watch the double clutch. First, boom. Thank you, Kevin Crow, as Scott Manning goes down. For Crow, it's his 4th of the year, unassisted. And we've got a timeout here in the arena in Baltimore. Gives us an opportunity to tell you about the Sockers will host their 5th annual Big Buddy Night, coming your way Thursday, March 28th against the Tacoma Stars. Now, Big Buddy Night is one night each year that the Sockers make regularly priced $10.50 tickets available for sponsorship for only $4. That's a heck of a deal, which are then, of course, donated to local charities and community service groups. Now, last year, the Sockers distributed a record 6,500 tickets, enabling many San Diegans to see their first Sockers game, deserving San Diegans. So if you'd like to be a Big Buddy Night sponsor, pick up that telephone tomorrow. Make it Monday. Pick up that telephone Monday morning and call the Sockers office at 224-4625. Be a part of Big Buddy Night. Let's break that record of 6,500 tickets donated to youngsters and charities so that they're able to come out to the sports arena and spend a night with the San Diego Sockers. Ron Newman has got his plan in attack. He's put Mike Collins in the 6th attack jersey. It's a all out or nothing for the San Diego Sockers. Ball sitting about, I'd say a good 15 feet outside the red line, right wing side. Bronco Segota there with Mike Collins. Paul Wright goes inside. Collins goes over the top of it. Here comes Segota. He'll unleash it, and it's blocked by Stankovic. 1 second ticks off the clock, so Stankovic stops it, and the ball will probably be spotted for the dead ball free kick about the same distance away that it was before, but closer to the dasher boards. Torres Cabrichin will spot it, and again, Segota talks about his plan with Mike Collins. Segota once again, as Stankovic post up in front of him, send it over, and there's a header by Crow, and the ball placed up in the air and settles down into the fist of Scott Manning as time runs out here in the first half of play. So after 30 minutes of action here between the perennial finalists of the Major Soccer League, the San Diego Sockers, the defending champs, and the runner-up Baltimore Blast, They're dead level at 3 goals apiece. We'll be back in a visit with Ron Newman after this timeout. In our game between the San Diego Sockers and the Baltimore Blast in this great rivalry. And joining me now, the head man of the San Diego Sockers, the coach of coaches in the MSL, Ron Newman. And Ron, we've just now passed the halfway mark. It's a little bit over the halfway mark in this season's race here in the MSL. What about surprises? Have there been any surprises? Will you take a look at your side?
Well, I'm a little surprised that the defense has come together as well as it did that early. I was a bit disappointed early in the season when we had so many new players, Dick, and I wasn't sure how long it would take to put it all together. And so that part of the game is real good. And, of course, we've got good scoring from all sorts of other places. So I think the fact that we're near the top of the league is commendable at this stage. Very happy.
You know, in the old days, the good old days, so to speak, the V, the Wilrich, the Dana days, the San Diego Sockers were a finesse team. Now the San Diego Sockers still winning, but you're a high-pressure team.
Well, I don't think you can survive without the high pressure now, Dick. I think that's the way the game's evolved. I think there were times when we played high pressure even back with those lads. It was not that easy to get them to play high pressure, but we could rely, of course, on their ability to score goals that could get us out of any trouble if we did get in trouble. But now I think it's much more of a team game now than it was back in the old days.
Staying with the thought that the league is now a little better than half over, there's been a number of new rules this year implemented by the MSL. How has it affected the game in the league?
Well, I think that obviously we've tried to improve the scoring, and I think we have increased the scoring, although it didn't look like it in St. Louis last night. But we have. The goals are bigger. The fact that you have to stand 15 feet back from free kicks make all free kicks much more dangerous, which in turn means that you're much more reluctant to give up a free kick near the edge of your penalty box, as you can imagine. We want to steer away from that. And the other thing is the foul. The way the fouls are counted now is individual fouls. And if a player gets 4 fouls, then the team gets a 2-minute penalty. So naturally the coach pulls a player off the field when he's got 3. So we really govern ourselves by doing it this way. And I think that all the rules this year are very good.
Ron, you never cease to amaze all of us in soccer with some of the things that you have done. In other words, things that you've invented, things that you've embellished on as far as utilizing the rules of the game. But I think the thing that you did this year in moving Ben Collins back as a defender was absolutely brilliant. I'm sorry, but I have to say that right here on TV 51. It was a heck of a move, and it's really worked out, hasn't it?
Well, I think Ben's the one that's brilliant. I'm so happy with Ben. You know, he's been a flash of fresh air because, you know, we were looking all around to find who could fill up those roles left by Ralph Back and George Fernandez and Cacho. And Ben said, you know, I can play at the back. And, of course, several other players have said the same thing to me. So although I tried Ben, and Ben always said to me, he said, give me 15 minutes. And if I'm no good, he said, you pull me out. I said, you're right, I will pull you out. But I've never pulled him out. He's been absolutely magnificent. And he's been one of the real bright spots of this year. And I think possibly all-star material at this stage.
Oh, I certainly agree with you. And as I wind things down here in our little chat with the head coach, what about this race in the West now? It's a dandy. San Diego, Tacoma, and St. Louis.
It is. You can't afford to lose a couple of games because the other teams sort of catch you up. Or, you know, we felt that we had 4 games against St. Louis in a 6-game span. And we felt that if we could win all 4 games, that would completely turn the league upside down. Because we were so far back at the time when we were thinking that. Well, we won 3 of those games, we lost 1. And we also won other games as well. So it turned out that we did turn the league upside down, and suddenly we're on top of the league instead of looking up from the bottom. And now, of course, St. Louis are still playing very well. They're going to be a difficult team to beat eventually, but and Tacoma slipped back, but I think they'll come back. And I think Tacoma's result last night shows that they're capable of rebounding after a bad start.
Okay, Ron, appreciate the visit. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Dick.
And we'll continue here at halftime. We'll be back in a moment, show you some highlights, cover the league standings. We'll embellish on that Western Division race a little more for you. Take a look at the scorers and the goalkeepers. All that's coming your way next when we come back right here on TV. Give me inside the Baltimore Arena. At the top of the show, we mentioned that these two teams have played 3 games previous, all 3 games ending by 1 goal to the victor. We'll have a chance now to look at the fastest goal in the history of the MSL. The fastest goal took just 3 seconds. Wad Hermes, a 1-bouncer to the speedy Paul Wright. Half volley into the lower left-hand corner, and it was 1-0 San Diego. However, that was equalized at 6:35 by the Baltimore Blast. Billy Ronson sending one in to Mark Metrick, who backheeled it between the legs of rookie keeper Saba Biller. Baltimore made it 2-1 when Timmy Whitman cracked one in from way outside. The ball came from Dominic Mobilio across. Now that's the backheel goal again, a different angle on the backheel goal by Mark Metrick. Saba Biller, I'm sure, caught by a little bit by surprise on that one because San Diego had a defender right on Mark Metrick. The third goal was scored by Baltimore to make it 2-1. We'll have a chance to take a look at that momentarily. We've got some other goals to look at. But we were talking about this series. Now, this series, it's a funny series in the fact that here in Baltimore, during the regular season, the Blast absolutely dominate the San Diego Sockers. But when it comes crunch time, Baltimore falls prey to the champions. Goal number 3 here in our game tonight was scored by Timmy Whitman. Whitman, who started playing at Baltimore at age 17, wears that number on the back of his jersey, and he sent Saba Biller sprawling, and it was 2-1 at that time in favor of the Baltimore Blast. Goal number 4 came off the foot of the veteran Dale Mitchell, and he followed up his own shot. Shot once, it was kick saved, and he went right after the ball and followed it up like the veteran forward that Dale Mitchell is. So Mitchell made it 3-1, and Baltimore was pretty comfortable at that point. However, San Diego does come back in the first half, obviously, because we're level at 3 goals apiece. We were talking about this series. The series always seems to take a San Diego turn late in the year when it becomes playoff time. Kenny Cooper has done everything he possibly can to change this modus operandi, so to speak, and probably the biggest move he has made since last year's championship was to trade off Carl Valentine to the Kansas City Comets for Dale Mitchell, who just scored that goal. And you can see how valuable Dale Mitchell is when he followed up his own shot. Youngsters 19 years of age and under are invited to sign up for the Junior Soccer's Feats of Magic Club. Now, this is an ongoing yearly deal with San Diego, and it's just marvelous. Now, all club members receive a free ticket to 2 soccer games at the sports arena, a club membership, and that is good for an additional $1 off the youth discount price, and an invitation to the special summer party with the Sockers players. So to become a junior soccer, call the Sockers office at 224-GOAL. By the way, the Junior Sockers are sponsored by Pepsi-Cola of San Diego, Domino's Pizza, Frito-Lay, and 7-Eleven. And we're underway in the second half. Bronco Segota lays one on a free kick to Wad Hermes, and he's blocked outside. Sox going from right to left across your TV 51 screen. Here's Segota and Metrick working down on the right side. Kevin Crow trying to keep it alive for San Diego. Just underway here in the second half of play. Look out, Mitchell with some space. He's pulling Biller out, but Biller retreats and collects at the near post. A 3-all tie. Thanks for joining us here. Just underway in the second half of play. By the way, Dominic Mobilio scored his 100th career goal tonight, and it's the fastest that any Blast player has ever scored 100 career goals. Dominic Mobilio, 15 shots for the San Diego Sockers. 11 saves for Scott Manning, the veteran. 6 saves for Scott Manning, the veteran, and 11 saves for the rookie Saba Biller in his first ever indoor start. San Diego out there now with Crow and Golovnia working as defensemen. Ball flipped up in the air and into the goal, and it's Golovnia as he chipped one over the head to the far post, and Scott Manning went up in the air. But I'm sure when we look at that again, Manning might have left his feet a little tonight here on TV 51, San Diego Sports Channel, as they continue to expose indoor soccer to Southern California. Mark Metric now. Billy Ronson, and in for Mobilio, where he is so dangerous. Mobilio positioned perfectly inside the box, just outside the goalkeeper crease, and the entrance pass by Billy Ronson was on the money, and it's 4-4 here in the Baltimore Arena. Dominic Mobilio now with career goal number 101 as he kicks the ball into the stands. It was Metric first, dropping it for Ronson. Ronson left wing side entrance pass, and look how all alone Dominic Mobilio is. David Banks is on the line, but he can't make the intercept. Wad Hermes was back too far to make any difference in that goal, as Mobilio finished strong for his 32nd goal of the year. Ronson gets his second assist of the night, his 26th of the season. The goal coming in 4:27 of the third period. And once again, this game is tied at 4 goals apiece. San Diego coming back. Paul Wright rebounding a missed Segota shot. Right up in the air, collision course with Joe Barger, and it's stripped out of there by Mike Reynolds in the center for Ronson. Ronson quickly up to Barger, tracked by Alex Golovnia down the right wing side, and hanging on is Barger. Sure, but Wade's pass to Ladouceur, broken up by Stankovic, who loses it to David Banks. Back and forth, up and down. Ladouceur off the wall, long rebound out to Mitchell in center. Back to Ronson. Ronson and Mitchell working the ball up, and now Stankovic broken up by Crow. Mitchell with a loose ball. Mitchell with a drive and a save by Biller. Loose ball in the box, cleared off by David Banks. As time runs down, Whitman will send one in the San Diego zone, and we have completed 3/4 of this contest, and we're just like we were at the half. And before we started the ball game, dead level. This time, 4 goals apiece as the coaching staff talk it over for San Diego. It's the Blast 4, the Sockers 4. Fourth period coming your way right after this. Coaches report, so let's go down to the field. Ron Newman standing by, and Ron, so far so good with your rookie goalkeeper in there. He's got you in the game level at 4.
I think he's doing great. I'm absolutely delighted with him. And of course, this is probably going to be his worst one because he's learning every minute of the game. So I think it'll be great if we can win this one for Sava.
Ron, you have a natural matchup now with the speed of Paul Wright and the absence of Angelo Panzetta. Any plans in the fourth period to isolate Wright on some of the slower defenders of Baltimore?
Well, we'd like to get him on as many slow ones, but there, of course, counteracts it. That, and they got Whitman. Whitman's very quick as well. So they got quite a bit of speed, and I think they're moving the ball forward quite quickly when they get it going. We just got to try and counterattack them if they're not successful.
Typical San Diego Soccer Baltimore Blast game, Coach.
It's a great game.
We'll see, and we appreciate the visit here on the Soccer's Auto Trader Coaches Report. Good luck in the fourth period, Coach.
Thank you, Dick.
And by the way, for that efficient, inexpensive advertising, pick up your copy of the Auto Trader Reserve. We've heard from Ron Newman. He's happy with the play of Sava Biller, who has now moved into the nets on your left-hand side of your screen. 30 shots for Baltimore through 3 periods, 21 for the San Diego Sockers. We're still level at 4 goals apiece. Sava, by the way, has made a total of 16 saves. Manning has only gone to the well 8 times. Attendance tonight, 9,417, an outstanding crowd here in the Baltimore Arena. 9,417, and the crowds are picking up in the major. For Collins, Michael's shot is wide, saved by Bronco Segota. We haven't seen Hermes of late. I wonder if Waddy is injured. Remember I told you his hand was all bandaged up? Wad has been absent on the floor in the last couple of shifts. Shot to goal by Paul Wright. Is he hot, and is he something else? Paul Wright is becoming a bona fide star of this MSL. He can do it inside, he can do it outside, he can run the floor, and he has just put San Diego up 5-4 with 12 minutes to go. You don't think he can score outside? Outside the red line. Work on Stankovic. He's been doing that for a while. And look at this right-footed shot, finds the far post perfectly low to Manning's right hand, and that's where you got to play it. So 5-4 as Paul Wright scores his second of the match. And Mike Collins will get the assist. That's goal number 23 for Paul. It'll be interesting to see. Is Paul Wright going to the All-Star game? Well, you would think he certainly deserves it. That goal comes at the 3-minute mark. Now we're inside 12 minutes remaining here in the fourth and final with 3:38 to go. Watching down now to the Blast bench. Yes, Kenny Cooper's got the coat off. That's Jim Pollahan to his right, his able-bodied assistant. Outstanding pair of coaches there. They've worked together a lot of years. Very close. But you can see Cooper trying to fire up his charges with his coat off. We'll take a look at this ball by Ronson once again. See that big kind of a dark spot there? That's a wave. That's a wave in the carpet. Here comes Ronson. The ball hits that wave and comes up for him, and that's what caused it. What good eyes on our crew down in the truck. It hit the wave, popped up on Ronson. Ronson unable to adjust to that and skied it out of play. So this carpet that has drawn a lot of criticism by the teams in the MSL, and including the Baltimore Blast. Saved the Sockers maybe there.
Superstructure violation, San Diego.
Now we're going to get a call. Torres Cabrichin has come over to the assistant, and he is just informing him that a sixth attack is on now. Scott Manning has gone off, and Billy Ronson, who is the main sixth attacker. Ronson has been a sixth attacker for over 30 minutes this year, and the 9,000 fans, better than 9,000 fans in attendance tonight, on their feet clapping here as Ronson is now in the sixth attack. Mark the time down, 3:16, a 5-4 San Diego lead. Yeah, that sounds like the MSL of old. It's noisy in the Baltimore arena. Ronson and Mobilio, Stankovic, Whitman, Mitchell, and Metric. 6v5 out there, but the goal on the far side. Look out, Metric scores and ties. As I was saying, the goal on the far right-hand side is wide open, but the sixth attack is efficient. And for the Baltimore Blast, they now have gone under the sixth attack 18 times, scored 9 goals, and that's the third time that they have equalized a score. It all started from the back. Stankovic over to Mark Metric, and that's his second goal of the game. Metric from Stankovic. Metric's 13th of the year. Stankovic's 22nd assist comes at the 12-minute mark. There's 3 minutes remaining in this contest, and it's all tied up once again, 5-5. Scott Manning back in the ball game. Bronco Segota down on the attack. Segota working against Mike Reynolds. Segota, who has more championship rings than anybody, feeding Wad Hermes inside the box, stripped away by Whitman, off for Stankovic. Bronco, who has won championships in New York and San Diego. Ben Collins gets in front of Dale Mitchell and breaks it up, and he's going to go coast to coast. Collins firing away, and it's saved by Scott Manning. Ben trying to get his head on the rebound, and there was a boot up there. The ball goes out. I think let's see who touched it. Before I say I think, let's see who touched it. Collins goes from one end to the other, deflected by Whitman, just barely wide of the left post and past Scott Manning's hand as Scott now directs traffic. So it'll be a corner kick for San Diego, right wing side. Segota will give way to Mike Collins. Collins just coming off the bench to trigger this ball in from the right wing corner. Segota will go outside and support him to his left, and the runs will come from the far side. Crow, Wright, and David Banks. Lift it for Wright, who whiffs on the ball, then finds it. Down at his feet at the red line, tries to get it back in the corner to Mike Collins, then puts a little dying quail down there that Collins is able to save. Out for Segota, who scores! And he stuck it in the back of the net. It's still there. A kid comes over and dislodges it, and Bronco, with that over 70-mile-an-hour laser on his right foot, stuck that ball so hard it stuck in the back of the net at the post. And San Diego, with 2:14 to go, has gone in front once again. 6-5. Look for the sixth attacker. It's coming now. Bronco Segota from out in the right wing, where he was positioned after the restart, got the ball and hammered it so hard past Scott Manning, and right behind Bruce Savage, number 22 there, the ball is stuck in the back of the net. So Segota gets his 10th of the year from Collins. That's Mike Collins at 12:46. He wears the gloves and the whole 9 yards out there. And not only is Billy Ronson the leading scorer for Kenny Cooper's side, Mike Stankovich just taking Paul Wright in. I think Stankovich has been given a 2-minute penalty. So the guy that leads all in penalty minutes in the MSL goes into the sin bin with 1:58 to go. What a break for San Diego. A power play opportunity for the San Diego Sockers, as Paul Wright, going up the right side, was boarded by Mike Stankovich. 6-5 is our score, and you're listening and watching it all right here on KUSI TV 51, Channel 9 in San Diego, California. San Diego on the power play. They're the #1 power play unit in the MISL, 52.3% on the man advantage. Savi Biller getting all mixed up out there. He's completely out of it. Somebody's got to clear it off for him. He was out in Never Never Land. Remember, the San Diego Sockers have a man advantage, and there's a holding call on Paul Wright. So the shorthanded unit of the Baltimore Blast have a dead ball free kick outside the San Diego line. They're shorthanded because the goal is wide open, but remember, they're in the 6th attack. The goal is open. Hermes sending it long down the floor and into the back of the net, and it's 7-5. And with 1.5 minutes to go in this one, that might be too big a mountain for the Blast to climb. 6th attack or no 6th attack. A power play goal that was scored from inside the halfway line in the San Diego half of the field, about midway between the San Diego red line and the halfway line by Wad Hermes, with the goal wide open. If you live by the sword, in hockey and soccer, you sometimes have to die by the sword being the 6th attack. With that man in the penalty box, Wad Hermes scores his 2nd goal of the night, and I believe it's his 29th, I'm not sure. Double check that for me, will you please? 28th goal of the season. So Wad Hermes from Paul Wright in a power play at 13:32, and San Diego has a 7-5 advantage. Isn't it amazing that in this series, 4 games have been played up until tonight, all games. Let's listen to this. Another 2-minute penalty. Handball. And it'll be on the Baltimore Blast. That means Joe Barger will be the guy that'll come over and serve it for Billy Ronson. Yeah, Billy, with those gloves and all, outside the box, handballing. Can't do that when you're the goalkeeper, whether you're the 6th attack goalkeeper or the regular goalkeeper. So San Diego, leading by 2 goals with 1:19 to go, have another power play opportunity. Remember, the Sox, the #1 power play team in the MISL, they have now scored 24 goals in 45 times that they've been in the man advantage. This will be their 46th opportunity in the power play. Kevin Crow out there with Paul Wright. Ben Collins, Wad Hermes, Bronco Segota. Defending, Timmy Whitman, Mark Metrick, Dominic Mobilio, Bruce Savage, and of course the 6th attacker, Billy Ronson. Saba Biller down to Wad Hermes. He's got that left foot, but he selfishly tries to play it across. He saw Paul Wright starting to make a run, unable to do it. Back come the Baltimore Blast. Remember, San Diego led by 2 and 3 goals the last time they were in here, only to have Baltimore creep up to a 5-4 final. San Diego winning that one. Ronson's shot is parried away by Biller. Return shot upstairs by Dale Mitchell. 34 seconds to go, 1:15 to go on the penalty served by Joe Barger, the handball penalty on 6th attack goalkeeper Billy Ronson. And San Diego now has sent a lot of this 9,417 fans out into the cold, cold night, where it's reported around 20 degrees tonight in Charm City. Ron Newman, who matches up with Kenny Cooper. Well, what can I tell you? It's just the best that the MSL has to offer. When those two teams get together, and 2 outstanding coaches like Ron Newman and Kenny Coop, He's got to be a little down. He lost last night 9-3 in Cleveland after holding a share of first place in the Eastern Division. And now Savi Biller gets the ball, passed back to him, and he's going to call a timeout. So Ron Newman wants a timeout with 31 seconds to go. He has that option, of course. Both coaches have an optional timeout in each half. So Ron Newman will call the timeout. Again, repeating last night, Cleveland, with 9 different players scoring, defeated the Baltimore Blast by a score of 9-3. And San Diego, of course, knocked off in the lowest scoring game so far this year in the MSL, 2-1 at the hands of St. Louis. So with San Diego leading here 7-5, they should take this one, and that will move them within a half game of St. Louis, pending the outcome of St. Louis-Tacoma tonight over on the West Coast. They're playing later. We gave you the halftime score of the Dallas-Cleveland game, which was 1-0 Cleveland over the Sidekicks at the half. We have no further report on that game. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, and we remind you, we'll be back with you on Sunday, the 3rd of February. Now we have a discussion between two old friends. I wonder what this is all about. Ron, I tell you what it's about. Kenny Cooper is upset that Ron called timeout. Yeah, Kenny is a little bit ticked off with 31 seconds that Ron called timeout. Ron tried to explain it to him, and Kenny is a little disturbed. I think more frustrated than anything else, losing 9-3 last night, and then, of course, having the late goal scored on him here to trail with just inside 30 seconds to go by 2 goals, 7-5. Remember, San Diego has the man advantage, and they're just going to pot shot to that open goal on the far right-hand side that Billy Ronson will try to hustle back and protect. He does. He brings it up the other way, looking for Mitchell, but he'll carry the glass and out of play. And young Sava Biller is now 12 seconds away from his first ever MSL victory in his first start in the Major Soccer League. 29-year-old Sava Biller was painting houses a few months back up in the Los Angeles area, and because of Eric Geyer and former San Diego Soccer Peter Skouras, he's going to be 1-0 in the MSL. Sox are going to let time run out. Stay with us. We'll recap this one for you after it's all over. 9,417 on hand here tonight. Another reminder that we will be back with you on TV 51 on February the 3rd, as now Ron Newman will go over and shake with Jimmy Pollahan and Kenny Cooper. So it's all over, and Cooper is such a pro. They're patting each other now, and they understand, and Cooper understands, and the frustration, I think, is over with. And Ron Newman has won 3 straight games here in Baltimore. The final score here tonight, 7 for the Sox, 5 for the Blast. Stay with us. We'll be back with a recap of this one tonight right after this.